Hello there!
And welcome back to another video! Today I'm going to be reawakening a series that I started on my channel around 3 years ago, I believe, but haven't made an episode for in around 2 years. That's right, for you revisitors, it is another episode of My Fandoms. My Fandoms is a series I started on my channel that was basically an excuse to just talk about the things that I love and share some things about them. I tried to theme my episodes sort of chronologically, but this one's a little bit of an oddball, and you know, I'll get into a little bit why I consider it an oddball in terms of a piece of media in my heart. But other episodes of the series, if you want to check them out, I've linked the playlist in the card on the upper right corner of the screen. It should be popping up around now. Other episodes include Dragon Ball, Naruto. I believe that the 7th episode, which was the last one that was posted, was for Miraculous Ladybug. And today we're going to be talking about One Piece! Cue the opening theme in the background that I won't play because of copyright issues. Cha-ching! So my relationship with One Piece is kind of interesting, I would say. I mean, I have had One Piece in my life for a very long time. I believe it's been in my life for around 19 years, and I hope it will stay in my life for another 19 or 900 years, or what have you. But as a lot of people who are my age, their first experience, or a lot of people who are my age that have always been into anime, I should say, their first experiences with One Piece was my first experience with One Piece, and it was the dreaded 4Kids dub. Bah, bah, bah. So the 4Kids dub I would watch on Saturday mornings when I was around 6-7 years old, and I had the rap memorized. I got to know the characters. I knew that Sanji always had a lollipop, cough cough cough, not a cigarette, and there weren't any bloods. It was just wacky, cartoony fun, and that was kind of my first introduction to One Piece. It was the 4Kids dub, and after that I kind of dropped off the ball. I didn't really keep up with One Piece afterwards. So my initial era of anime was, you know, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Inuyasha, a little bit of One Piece, a little bit of like Shaman King, Beyblade. After that, I kind of moved on to, you know, things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And then when I discovered the internet, you know, I started watching like romance shows, or I got into Naruto. I kind of only started Naruto when I was like 11 or 12. That was kind of late for people my age, but again, I started One Piece when I was like 6-7 years old. So what happened there was that I watched it as part of this general like suite of things, but I kind of ended up taking it for granted, and it wasn't until I kind of ended up seeing it as the challenge that all anime fans end up seeing it as. Like, you know, after I caught up to the Naruto manga, I caught up to the Bleach manga, I was keeping up with the Fairy Tail manga. I had seen, it was at this point in my life when I was like 14-15 years old that I had been, you know, caught up with a bunch of manga, that I was up to date with all of the Sneasel shows at the time, that I was like, alright, I'm ready to do this. And then I watched another extra 100 episodes of One Piece through the anime, and I was like, nope, I'm not ready to do this. I switched to the manga, and then I was able to get past the Marineford arc, and after that I needed a break. So I should have said this before, but I'll say it now, that there won't be any big spoilers in this episode or this YouTube video. So if you're interested in checking out One Piece in the future and you're not already, I won't say anything that's spoiler heavy. I'll probably say a lot of words that you don't understand, like probably if you haven't seen One Piece, Marineford doesn't mean anything to you, but if you have seen One Piece, Marineford does mean something to you. But that's kind of just the name of the game with a made-up world. There's going to be names of stuff that you don't know anything about. But yeah, anyway, so when I was 15 and 16 years old, I ended up catching up to a huge chunk of it, and then after that I kind of would take it like an arc at a time, mostly through the manga. I would end up, you know, running into clips of the anime here and there, but it wasn't something that I was like super hyped up. What kind of reawakened this love of One Piece, more so than just, you know, somebody that, you know, knew the story, kept up with it roughly, to somebody that actually like has a huge passion for One Piece, to the point where I don't think I've drawn more fan art for anything ever at this point. And I've been drawing for like 15 years as well, but in the last 2 years I've drawn more One Piece. Like, even flipping through my current sketchbook, I think I've drawn Luffy in there like 5 times. And that's, you know, that's saying a lot, because I'm only 50 pages in the sketchbook, but, and this page included. But yeah, so what made me kind of stop taking One Piece for granted as much was that a couple years ago, Totally Not Mark, which was somebody that I was following on YouTube for his Dragon Ball content, he started doing this series of blind reviews to other shows. So he did one for I don't know what's the first one. I think the first one he did might have been for One Piece, the first blind review. But since then, he's done one for Naruto. He's done one for something else I can't remember. But he did one for One Piece. And so I really like his style of content. I really like his commentary. So I watched him go through the first few arcs of One Piece as an adult that has quite a lot of interest in writing as a technical skill and storytelling as an art form. And then I just kind of saw him experience this through a different lens, and that really made me appreciate, because I kind of, I love Luffy, and I've always loved Luffy. I just didn't know why I loved Luffy. I didn't think about it. Like, Luffy just is, right? But then when Mark was experiencing it, when Mark was meeting Luffy, you kind of get this different perspective of like what makes him special, what makes One Piece special. It's not just the characters, it's not just the world, it's not just the way that things are interconnected. It's everything all put together, and the way that it's framed, and the way that it takes you on this journey. And having experienced somebody else experience it for the first time as an adult kind of made me rethink and revalue everything I kind of knew about this. Because it was like he was saying it, and he was talking about some of the earlier impactful moments, like Arlong Park, or like this character's backstory, or that thing happening. And he was saying it like, wow, or like there's this specific panel of Nami, and Nami's just talking to Luffy, and then if you've seen One Piece, you know which one I'm talking about, and you're just like, and that was something that I watched for the first time as a kid, and I knew it happened, and I felt that, and I knew Nami's backstory, and I knew everything behind it, and I knew the payoff and all that. But having seen somebody experience it for the first time made me revisit that in a different lens, and then I kind of just went back a lot farther, and then I connected a lot deeper, and then of course with all of the other stuff that's in the current arc that's happening, as well as continuing to happen, it just kind of reawoke this entire sense in my gut that I had, I genuinely did take One Piece for granted, because it was so long, it was always there, it's almost always been a part of my life in recent the bulk of my memory. I've always had One Piece around, that I really did take it for granted until I got to see it through fresh eyes, in a sense. And since then, I've just not been able, like, it's lived in my head rent-free, basically. All of these moments, all of these scenes, all of these quotes, all of these characters, that even the development, and all of these things, especially because when I first started watching One Piece, I was so young, and then it turned into this thing where I am older, and I like looking at things a little bit more critically, and I just sort of see the genius behind, Oda started publishing One Piece a couple months before I was born, and he's still connecting things, and things are making sense, and he's still, not losing his way. Like, Akira Toriyama, the author of Dragon Ball, will be the first to say that, when he was writing the Cell arc, he forgot a bunch of things that happened in the earlier arcs, and there's quite a lot of inconsistencies. He couldn't keep track, and neither could his editor. But Oda, the author for One Piece, would never do that. He has it all so, and to me that's just amazing. When I talk about my other friends about this, I like put it on par with Lord of the Rings kinds of world building, but then at the same time it's so different from because everybody can understand how incredible Lord of the Rings world building is, but then to put that level of world building with the whimsy and the cartoon logic and the Looney Tunes, and this guy's made of rubber, he can stretch his arm to loop around somebody for a hug. When he eats too much, he turns into a balloon. If you punch him, you'll bounce back and hit yourself in the face. Like, to put that kind of logic, to make it make sense, but then to at the same time deliver a level of complexity and a level of depth that, other stories, even political dramas like Game of Thrones, struggle with. Like, I find that just amazing, and I just can't put words to how much I love this series. And then again with the characters, like, there's this huge debate happening on TikTok about protagonists that have a raising arc, so they start bad and then they grow and then they get better, characters that have a decreasing arc, so characters that start with some level of morality and then as time goes on they get worse and worse and worse, and then you have characters that have a static arc where they're not changing throughout the story, they incite change around them, and that's kind of like Goku from Dragon Ball, kind of like Luffy from One Piece. And that's something that, again, I never used to think about in my first couple, like up until I was 25 years old, not 25, but when I was quite old, until then I didn't really think about it. So in the entire time I was experiencing the initial stages up through past Marineford, past the time skip, I wasn't really thinking about it in that sense, because Luffy always just was. But that's the point, Luffy always just is, and you believe that he's going to become King of the Pirates, and you believe he's going to become King of the Pirates in a different way that you believe Naruto is going to become Hokage, because Naruto had to grow into becoming Hokage, while Luffy just always is going to be the next king of the pirates. You know, Luffy doesn't have to do that much growing. Yes, he's learning to fight better, he's getting a better handle of his powers, he's collecting stronger and stronger allies and crewmates and stuff like that, but Luffy still is just Luffy, becoming the king of the pirates. And I think that's kind of, you know, incredible, especially when you mix in with like every single arc. We get so much more depth and we get to experience new things, but then we're also getting to connect back to old things. And then when you revisit older parts of the story, you get to understand, oh, well, that's why this is that way, because it connects to this other thing that we learned about. And that's, you know, to me, that's just, you know, story writing gold. And I've been gushing about this for 10 minutes and I still have so much else that's like really good to say, but I should pause there and talk a little bit about what I'm drawing, and then talk a little bit about the other factor that is with the My Fandom series, that is that I always share my favorite fanfics for the series in the description. So for the drawing, I'm drawing Luffy and this character named Yamato. Yamato is quite a big part, more so a little part of the current arc. So the current arc, both in the anime and the manga, is Wano Country, and Yamato was introduced there, and he's been just around a lot, and I've really enjoyed seeing him. And Yamato is supposed to be 8 feet tall, which for us metric users, that's around 3 meters, and Luffy is under 2 meters. Luffy's, you know, a normal human, which is like 5'6" or something, so that's 170. So trying to illustrate the height differences between Yamato and Luffy was quite interesting, but so I just made Luffy kind of like jump and he's stretching, and Luffy's really nice to draw because anytime his anatomy is slightly wonky, you can just say, oh, he's rubber, it's fine. Which is something I really appreciate. But yeah, no, getting Yamato's size right was a little bit of a challenge for me, and that's kind of why I wanted to draw this piece for a while, but I couldn't get around to it because I was just trying to figure out in my head, how am I going to do this? And then just a couple of days I was going, no, I'm just going to draw it. And then as I was drawing it, I was like, I need to do a My Fandoms episode about One Piece. So I had been filming it because I planned on editing it down to a TikTok. And then I was like, okay, well, this is really nice. But then I was like, okay, well, we'll just take a photo of it and then like clean it up digitally, just so that I can take it that extra bit farther and to capture the emotion and maybe fix a little bit of the wonkiness, because yeah, it's a bit rusty in drawing in the sketchbook. But yeah, so the drawing's basically just Luffy and Yamato having a grand old time. And yeah, the fanfics. So there's a couple categories of fanfics that I really like for One Piece. A lot of them is just the time travel fix it stereotypical, and it's just like the make happy, do good. There's a couple ones that I'm going to include that are a little bit more like abstract, I think. I'll make sure to put like the rating, and then if there's any kind of warnings, like if there's a slash pairing and that's not your cup of tea, or if there's it's mature or something, I'll put some of that. And I don't think One Piece is the kind of show that like, you know, you need to be caught up to read any of the fanfics. I don't think any of the ones, like most of them, if you pass Marineford, you're fine. Some of them maybe not, so I'll try to put that as well in the description. But overall, One Piece, I think, has the weakest fanfic culture out of all of the episodes that I've done for My Fandoms. Just because, I mean, there's so much stuff that I don't know, it's like nobody can really match up to Oda, and there's not as many things where people get frustrated. Because I found, like, for fanfics, a lot of the things are like things you wish that the author would have gone more into, and so you do it through fanfics, and there's not much that readers wish that Oda, or we just trust that he'll eventually get to it sorts of situation, like all the mysteries. So I don't know, there's still some really good fanfics for One Piece. A lot of the ones that I also really like are crossover, so I put a couple of those as well. And yeah, overall, if you haven't given One Piece a shot, I know it sucks to say, but there are kind of some movie summaries of the first couple arcs. So if you're not willing to commit to 1,000 episodes, try to find the East Blue and the Alabasta. There's a couple movies that give you the first couple arcs in summary. And yeah, I mean, I love One Piece, and it's super near and dear to my heart. These characters are everything. My favorite character, I'm torn between Shanks, Sanji, Ace, Roger. I don't know. It's hard to pick. I mean, obviously I really love Luffy as well, and I really like Yamato these days, but I don't know. It's just really hard to pick a favorite when you love all of them. But yeah, hopefully me gushing about One Piece for 15 minutes was somewhat interesting to you. Hopefully you enjoyed the piece and enjoyed this video, and I do encourage you to peruse the fanfics I left in the description. And yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you sometime.